fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're just freaked out. Get ready for defeat now.
Well. It's been a few years, tokoyami. That it has. So, I didn't think our reunion would be like this, older brother. Yes, we meet again in Tartarus prison. This has become quite the conundrum for both of us. How do you think I feel? Now, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now. Whenever we last left off with this series, a bit of things have happened. First of all, Midoriya's identity has been revealed to the public. People think Yui is his sidekick or accomplice, and Ida was murdered after Stain joined the League of Villains, along with Off One beginning to put together the plan for Midoriya's revenge. Now, with that being said, we do actually have a few days later. Yui has put the idea into Midoriya's head to fight Stain. However, Midoriya, he knows exactly how far ahead Stain is when it comes to speed and strength. Midoriya, physically, he is out of his league. However, he knows what Stain's quirk is. And, with his very own quirk, Stain shouldn't be able to land a blow. However, if Midoriya is going to face off against the guy, he's going to need to juice up a little bit. So, that's exactly what Midoriya is going to do. Now, Midoriya, he decided to head out and go to buy a taser, since that might help him out a bit more. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, he believes that he has everything intact and ready for his fight against Stain. However, before this can happen, you do actually have where All For One does call a meeting. And he does explain what is going to happen next. He's been keeping an eye on UA, and he knows that they're losing their time in the limelight with the public. In fact, Shigechi High School is currently the #1 ranking for people, since they aren't literally targeted by villains every other fucking week. Now, with that being said, Off One does talk about the plan. UA, they were supposed to do a camping or training camp for their students. However, with everything going on, students have been temporarily put into a dorm system on campus. And UA is on high alert. However, All For One, from a source he does have, UA is putting their high alert on even higher alert, meaning that pro heroes will be on the campus at night. Now, All For One has actually inspected the area, and Kirigiri would then take over, as he did explain that from numerous journeys onto campus, he can tell that they are up to something. The temporary dorm systems that they have set up are being used by many different students, from Class 1A to General Studies. And it's not just that. It appears that pro heroes are being brought in to teach the next generation. And this is where he believes UA is putting their training camp on campus. Now then, with that being said, This is the perfect time for All for One. He wants the league to head in and steal students away. Now, the moment this is brought up, Midoriya, he actually does jump from his seat and tell All for One that he opposes many things about this plan. Please, boy, do speak up. First off, there are many concerns of mine about what you think you're doing. Really now? Exactly what are your concerns? Now, Midoriya would look around the room, as he does see Toga, Dabi, and the other members of the league. Now, I'm saying other members because I'm trying to remember a few of their names, but I can't. Now, Midoriya does talk about how they're all villains and they aren't really the trustworthy bunch from his experience. He's seen many deals gone wrong, and he wants to ensure that two students remain untouched by everyone. Incapacitation is perfectly fine. He can do that and handle those two targets. However, everybody else, they're fair game. Now, Muscular, he was going to say something to Midoriya about him being a bit too sensitive. However, that last part is what caught him off guard, as Yui did look at Midoriya and ask him if he's really going to say that about them. Muscular telling her to just calm down, as he does stand up and say he didn't think the kid really had the guts to say that. He thought that he was a hero. However, that bravado quickly went away. Muscular calling him a ruthless bastard, just like him. To which Midoriya would look up at the man, and just say that they're nothing alike. Really now? Are you sure? Because I can tell you, from my own experience that Now, this would be where Midoriya, he does bring up his hand. And, in less than 1 second, Muscular does have a cut on his face. And, there is a part of the wall that is currently at least steaming. Now, Muscular would turn his head and look at the wall behind him, as he does then look back at Midoriya and grit his teeth, as everyone is confused. Midoriya, with his finger outstretched, telling Muscular that if he does continue talking, he's going to put a hole right through his head, and he'll be dead before he even registers it or hits the ground. I see. So you're not just all talk, are you? Now, this is where Light Shadow would actually reappear behind him, and say that, of course, he's not. Muscular actually taken aback by that, as he does go to try and swing around his arm. Now, Light Shadow would catch it and tell Muscular that he shouldn't underestimate the both of them. Now, Muscular is surprised learning that this is Midoriya's quirk, and about how Midoriya is basically a 2-in-1. Now, with that being said, Midoriya does request to go onto Yui campus first. However, before he does leave, the doctor does want to talk with him. Now, Midoriya does agree to these terms, as you do have Yui, who all for one does make an offer. Now, Yui, she is kind of surprised about this deal. Give her a quirk, and she has to do him a favor down the line. That sounds simple enough. Now, All for One would give her a quirk, which, let's just say, is telekinesis. Now, Yui was quite surprised. And All for One, he did break down how to use the quirk to her in a few simple ways. Now, Yui, she did try to at least pick up something, and she'd have to at least maintain a bit more focus but by doing so, she was able to slowly begin to lift a cup of water. Now, All For One would explain this quirk to her, and she is grateful by it. Now, she does then turn to Kirigiri and ask for a few things, to which he does just set down a few rolls of coins out of the cash register, asking her if these will suffice. To which she does just grab the rolls and go to stuff them down into her pockets. Now, Midoriya does go to talk with the doctor, as the doctor, when Midoriya does work in, he is looking at Midoriya's blood. And he does ask him a few questions about sentient quirks and what he does know. Midoriya explaining very little, and the doctor does fill in his gaps. Now, this would be where Midoriya does learn about the doctor's intentions with his own blood. He's gonna copy his quirk and give it to All For One. And Midoriya, he was taken by that. It doesn't seem like a good idea. Now, the doctor would agree. Under normal circumstances, this type of thing would regularly be permitted. However, with a sentient quirk, many things would be possible. Thinking about how if it responds just like Midoriya's own quirk, it would possibly kill All For One from the inside out. Or if he can find a way to make tissue, or humans, quote unquote as you would call them, from this quirk that Midoriya does have, then he could possibly create biological Nomu from a quirk. And the limit to their power is possibly endless. Now, Midoriya does learn about the doctor's intention, and the doctor does ask Midoriya if he'd be willing to do a test. Now, Midoriya, he would say no. However, the doctor, he does just hand him something, saying that it's not that type of test. Now, Midoriya is confused by a little pill the doctor handed him, as the doctor would talk about how this is an experimental form of quirk enhancer, and he wants to know what it would do to Midoriya's sentient quirk, and how it would affect it. Are you sure this is a good idea? Yes. If anything happens, take the quirk enhancer. It's better than you getting caught. It's at least half as potent as one I was planning to give you. Half as potent? So, how much is this? Let's see. If my calculations are correct, that should at least boost your quirk temporarily. I'd say 10 minutes at maximum. And as for how much, I don't know. That is, let's just say, over 10 times, I believe. Oh. It won't kill me though, will it? No. That was something that I worked out in the last phase. And you're actually the test subject number 2 for this. Who was number 1? Do not worry about that. Now, the doctor would then send Midoriya on his way. Now, we do actually have where Midoriya does head back to his room. And he does go to get ready, as he does look down at the pill the doctor did give him. And he does just think, as he goes to put it into his pocket. And he does get dressed, Midoriya changing his clothes, as he puts on a black long-sleeve shirt. And he does then throw the cloak over his shoulder, as he tightens his shoes and does get ready, as he does put on his gloves and look into a mirror. Now, Midoriya does just think, as he stares at himself. Tonight is going to be very risky. Not only does he have to take down Bakugo and his brother, but he needs to make sure those two don't get hurt. If something happens, he's going to be held responsible. And tonight, this might cement him as being seen as a villain. Or, at least, somebody who's doing the right thing for the wrong reason. Now, with that being said, somebody would knock on Midoriya's door, as Midoriya would turn and ask who's there, to which Yui would open her mouth and respond that it's her. Now, Midoriya would just tell her that it's open, as she does walk into the room and see Midoriya, who he is at least twiddling his thumbs. Now, she does ask him if he's alright, as she does walk up to him. I'm okay. Just nervous. I'm gonna scout ahead, take out my brother, take out my friend. We can't let them get hurt. Along with that, I can't do this. The simple idea that I can put my brother in harm's way is almost enough to upturn my stomach. But actually doing it, getting him out of harm's way is the only thing that can make me feel better. So, please, just... Now, Yui would just set something down on the table, as Midoriya does look up and see it. Now, Midoriya was surprised, but he did at least ask her why she put that there. To which she does just say that this little fruity drink is something that Kirigiri made for him. Huh? Really? Yeah. I told him that you might be nervous. It's not enough to get you inebriated, but it's something to calm you down. Now, Midoriya, he would just laugh, as he does pick it up and feel that it's cold, as he does take a sip. Now, Midoriya was surprised. It's good. It's fruity, it tastes like pineapple and strawberries. At the same time, there's also slush and, well, plenty of ice in here. It's all ground up so finely like a snow cone. What is this? I don't know. Now, Midoriya, he would just hand it over to her, as she does take a sip of it herself. Now, Midoriya and her do talk, and Midoriya does share his fear about tonight, as Yui, she does try to calm him down. Now, she does just tell him as she does put the drink down and walk over to him, as she does bend down and get onto eye level with Midoriya, that if he goes up ahead, then everything will be fine. He can take out his brother, get him out of harm's way. Then Yui can be theirs for the taking. All they have to do is really just stay out of the villain's way. And if they can, take down pro heroes. That's really it. Now, Midoriya does see where Yui is coming from, as he does agree with her. Now, Midoriya, he does at least bring this up to Kirigiri, who would take this to All for One. And he is annoyed, but he does understand, as he does make a special request of Midoriya. Now, Midoriya, once he does take out his brother and Bakugo, he will be assigned the task of taking out Eraserhead and taking him down. If he can successfully bring in Eraserhead, then he'll count this as acceptable. Now, Midoriya, he does understand, where All For One is coming from. Not only does Midoriya have history with that guy, but he's failed to defeat him before. And he's also been able to escape. So, this will be round 3. And it's going to be for everything. If Midoriya can't get away tonight, he'll be captured, since he's walking into a hornet's nest. However, if he does take out Eraserhead, then that does mean that everyone else would just be grasping at straws without him. Now, Midoriya, yeah. He does know that tonight's gonna be intense. And he does want to do this. As a portal would open, and Midoriya would walk through it, with Yui by his side. Now, Midoriya, he would explain to her what she's going to need to do, and about how if she can at least do that, then everything will be okay. Now, Yui, she does understand, as she does actually walk over to a rock and go to pick it up with telekinesis. Midoriya actually turning and being taken aback by that, as he does ask her what is she doing. Her explaining that her and All For One made a deal. And Midoriya, he would look at that and be a bit more surprised. Now, Yui does carry the large rock, and Midoriya, he does turn invisible, as he does head in to stalk his prey, and Yui should wait for a signal. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. Catch you guys in the next part.